are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what brings you in today?
Um, well, I really don't want to talk about this, but I know I should. I've been married for 10 years, and now my husband and I have kind of hit a rough patch in our marriage.
Okay.
Um, he has a really big, Italian family, and they're really close, and that's really nice. But um, for the last year or so, it's been really getting in the way of our relationship, and I feel like I've become like invisible to him.
Okay. So just to clarify, big Italian family, and they have started coming in between the relationship between you and your husband. And it sounds like you feel a bit isolated within
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Just because, I mean, his family's very nice, and, I don't have a problem with them. But, I don't, we've been married for 10 years, but I don't really know anyone outside of, his mom and dad are really nice. And he has a sister and a brother, and they're nice, but he has like a whole, army, it seems like, of cousins and second cousins and aunts and uncles, and I don't really know them, and I would like to get to know them better, but they just keep dragging him away from me, and it's not just, inviting him and I together over to doing things, it's just him. And so now I just feel like even when we have plans, if his family needs him or just invites him over, he just completely ignores me. And I feel like he's choosing his family over me. And I know his family is really important because, it's his family. They were there first. But I feel like, what is the point of our relationship if he's not going to at least try and work on it with me?
Right. So the fact that he is spending so much time with his family makes you feel a bit isolated, more than a bit isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And you would like to be involved in, getting to know his family. You would like to be involved in getting to know all the extended family and the cousins and all that. And his family is important to you too, but it's overshadowing y'all's relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, when we first got married, he was close with his family, but we still had a lot of time for just us.
Mhm.
And that was really good. But like ever since last year when his aunt had a heart attack, and she survived and she's doing well now, but I think that kind of maybe brought them all together again, and now they've been really super close, which is great. I feel horrible for, complaining about his family, because it's his family and that's supposed to be a good thing. But I feel like it's having this negative side effect of me kind of just being left out into the desert by myself, because for whatever reason they don't think to include me, and he doesn't. And I guess maybe that's just what hurts the most, is that he's not trying to include me. And especially like when we have planned date nights and he cancels on me. If it was an emergency, it'd be understandable, but a lot of times now it's not an emergency. It's because, his cousin wants to show him, a motorcycle he's working on or stuff like that. And it's like, when do I come first again? And so I've been kind of retreating into my own, I guess, world. I have my craft room now, and I spend the majority of the time that we are even under the same roof, I'm in there, and I'm not even talking to him, because why should I put effort into the relationship when he's not?
Right. It sounds like you do value your relationship with your husband. It's just, I can hear the frustration in your voice when you talk about how he cancels plans with his family, and he cancels plans with you to go be with his family, and he's not making an effort to include you, and that, you said, it makes you feel horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awful. It's like, this is the man that, vowed to love me, through sickness and health and forever and what's so forth, and now it's like it feels like I'm nothing to him. Like, he says he loves me, which is great. I appreciate that, but I am a firm believer that actions speak louder than words, and his actions right now are saying that he could care less about me. And I don't think he realizes that, and I don't want to bring it up because I don't like confrontation, because, you know, my parents fought a lot when I was a kid and they didn't have a good marriage, and I don't want to be like my parents. I promised myself when I got engaged to John, my husband, that I would never be like my parents, that I wouldn't repeat their mistakes. And now I feel like I'm on that verge of being like my mother and him being like my father, and that terrifies me. It keeps me up at night, and maybe that's another reason why I'm frustrated, because I'm not sleeping well anymore, because ever since this started and me feeling ignored, I can't sleep. I feel like my whole life is being disrupted right now.
Right. When you think about bringing all of this up to him, how does that make you feel?
Very anxious, because like I said, I'm very non-confrontational, and the idea of bringing up any kind of bad thing, I just don't want to. I don't, because I guess it has less to do with him and just more to do with my parents and me just not wanting to be like my parents, because they could never handle an argument very well. They always fought and they always yelled, and I don't want to be like my parents.
Do you have any children of your own?
No.
So the thought of you bringing up this, and it may or may not cause an argument, even gives you anxiety, because you would like to fix it, but the way that you've seen conflict handled by married couples, and one that is very close to your parents, it's very hard for you to see how it could go well.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I know in real life a lot of married couples that have healthy relationships can have arguments and still things be okay. Like logically, I know that. But, you know, I guess there's a difference between your head and your heart. And my brain really isn't getting that message across to my heart. And I guess I've just seen too much conflict to just even try and chance it and talk to him about it. Because, you know, it's his family, and that's something that's very near and dear to him, and he's very protective of his family, and I just wish he would feel that protective over me, because I don't feel like he is anymore.
Right. Have you mentioned, like, if he says, oh, one of my cousins invited me to go to a party at his house, I'll see you later, have you mentioned, oh, I'd love to go, or something to that effect?
No, because I'm too worried to be about being rejected.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I almost invite myself and then him say no. I mean, he's by all definitions, he's a good husband. He's not mean, but I just don't want to put myself in a situation where I get rejected, because I've been rejected too much in my life.
You've been rejected too much in your life. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, you know, I just think with, you know, my parents and their rough relationship, that caused a lot of tension between us, and there was a lot of, I feel like, rejection. I wasn't always very popular in high school, and I got bullied a lot, so there was rejection there. And I have a good career now, but I'm a writer, so there was a lot of rejection at first with my pieces that I wrote. So I just feel like there's just a big theme of rejection, and I just don't want to have any more rejection in my life.
You don't want that theme to become the theme of your marriage.
I'm very protective of my marriage, and I want to make sure things are good, because like I said, my parents had a horrible marriage, and I refuse to repeat their mistakes. And that means I need to make sure that my marriage is as perfect as possible.
What is your version of perfect? When in your head, when you say, you know, you just said you want perfect marriage, what image comes to your head immediately?
Just, you know, a happy, healthy family, you know. No arguments, you know, happy with each other. I mean, realistically, I know that you can't be happy 24/7, but I just, healthy, you know, addressing things in a healthy way. And I know I'm not addressing things in a healthy way, because I know avoiding things isn't the right way to do it. But I have no clue on what the healthy way is, because it's never been modeled to me before. And I've read marriage help books before, but they're useless. I don't know. You know, so I don't know. I feel a little lost.
It sounds like relationships, healthy relationships, are very important to you and you strive for that. And right now you feel like your relationship with your husband is starting to become unhealthy due to his, as you see it, unhealthy relationship and closeness with his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know if I want him to be close to his family because he's very lucky that he has such a good family. Because I know what it feels like to not have a very supportive and healthy family. But I want to feel included if he's going to be that, devoted to them. Because now I feel like he's leaving me for them, and it just feels like it's going to just be another rejection. And I'm not prepared for that.
Rejection, that's a word you keep using a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The word rejection. What emotion do you tag onto that word?
Devastated.
Okay.
Nobody wants to be rejected. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to feel like they're needed, like they're important to somebody. And I don't feel like I'm needed. I don't feel like he needs me. I feel like if I disappeared tomorrow, it wouldn't matter to him because he still has his family. And, I'd like to think that isn't true, that I'm just being irrational. But lately, I wouldn't be surprised, because his family takes precedence over everything in our lives. And, like I said, some things are understandable, but other things, when am I going to come first in his life? And if I'm not going to come first in his life, why are we married? Why, what are we doing?
Right. The frustration is evident, and it's your emotions about the situation are very logical. You have very logical emotions about the situation. It sounds like you've thought about it a lot.
Well, I've had a lot of time to think about it.
Understandably so. Have you thought about possibly, instead of asking him to go over, what kind of a relationship do you have with your mother-in-law and your father-in-law?
Friendly.
Okay.
They've always been very nice to me. But I wouldn't say we're exactly close. But when we go over for holidays, I always help his mom cook.
Which I'm sure in an Italian family, that's a lot of food.
Oh yeah. So and we always have fun together. I don't know. I guess I've always just been kind of emotionally distant to mother figures, just because I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. So, and so I guess that's kind of on me. But like I said, I guess it just goes back to that theme of rejection. I can't handle any more rejection. And even though logically I know she wouldn't reject me, it's that heart thing again.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe I could try, inviting them over to our house to do something. But that's just this whole another anxiety attack. It's coming over to my house, and is my house going to be good enough? And is it, and I don't know.
What about meeting them where they are?
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
Your body language kind of changed. What's going through your head?
I don't know. Just if it would kind of, I feel like me against them.
Okay.
But maybe not. I don't know. I like I said, really beyond holidays, I don't go over there much because he gets invited, but I don't. So,
what do you think you could do to possibly change that? Have you thought about some different ways that you could become involved regardless of whether he's invited or not?
I guess a little bit. I have thought about, inviting his cousins over, because I know some of his cousins are really interested in sewing, and I know how to sew. So I've thought about, inviting them over. But I guess there's just that anxiety again of